All right, welcome back to What She Says Sports. This Shanola girl checking in. All right, y'all, it's the midday huddle. Let's get in here. So we're gonna do a league around the league today because there's a lot happening. Um, we're gonna congratulate some people first, and we're gonna take notice of some activity happening. Now, first and foremost, I want to congratulate the WNBA on what is definitely a historic moment. The WNBA has been around since I think the mid 90s, right? And it's to 2026. That's a long time, and it's decades. And for the first time ever, they have the women that play for the league, about 100 and maybe 87 women now with the expansion teams. They have their salary, which has always been a hot button issue, that the players were undervalued. And then the league said, we don't make enough money. Well, guess what? Finally, after 100 days of negotiations, 100 hours of negotiations, these women are now getting the bag. They are finally getting the bag. The salaries now will reach, I think, north of $1 million for what they are calling a supermax contract. Now, Asia Wilson is expected to get that supermax. She's expected to be the first person to get the supermax, but she won't be the only person. Why? Because across the league, each team's salary cap is now 7 million, which is up from 1.5 million, which is a drastic increase, which is why you'll hear them calling the deal transformational. So while it covers salaries, it also encompasses revenue sharing, the jersey sales, a cut of the profits. Congratulations to the WNBA. Time was definitely on their side, right? The women had leverage at their beck and call because why? It's time to get going. They have 2 drafts coming up, one for the players coming out of college, one for what they call the expansion draft, and they got to get those out of the way, get ready for the season. So it's time to get going. So they agreed. I think it said 100, either 100 days or 100 hours. I think it was I calculated 100 hours of negotiating, which is about 4 days in total being locked in a room for the most part on what they call marathon bargaining sessions. And they got it done. So the women coming up, they're gonna be balling. The women definitely gonna be balling. Last year they were being teased about flying people out, flying dudes out. They got the bag for sure, right? And just to let you know how drastic the increase is, Asia Wilson's current salary before the deal kicks in, and they still have to sign it, but they agreed in principle, so they'll sign it, is $200,000 a year. Angel Reese, Caitlin Clark, this should give you an example of what a rookie salary, $63,000. 63,000, and for the life of the contract for the rookies, it was just going to only go up to 93,000. So 30,000 over 4 years, and we're talking 63,000. There are people out here in college coming out of school making 80,000. Facts, right? So 60,000 for Angel Reese, Caitlin Clark. The rookies came in last year. Now the rookies will start at 300,000. Yes, the rookie salaries will start at 300,000. Now, the salaries are not retro, but the revenue sharing is. And the players are getting ready to get a big check, I think, by June for the jersey sales and all of that. Angel Reese is really popular, Caitlin Clark, Asia Wilson. So they're going to get that money first, and that's retro. But the salaries are not. So from 63,000 to 300,000. So shout out to the new rookies coming to the WNBA because they get ready to benefit from all the hard work and all the building of this league on the backs of the women's, going back to the days of the Houston Comets, right? Now, Asia Wilson's salary, like I said, going from 200,000 to she's expected to be the first person to get the supermax at about 1.1 to 1.4. Now, mind you, that 1.1, 1.4 is base. When you start adding her revenue sharing, she could easily topple $2 million. Now, some people say that that's not good enough for a star like Asia, 4-time MVP. Hey, it might not be good enough, but it's damn sure a start because coming out of college where your NIL is likely higher than your rookie salary. I mean, that was kind of daunting, and that's why a lot of people wanted to stay in school. But now I can play ball in college. I can come out in college, get 300,000 my first year, and if as I progress, my salary can increase because the revenue sharing is 20% over the life of the deal itself. If it lasts till 2035, then year over year, they get more money in their salaries. So finally, they're being respected, they're being valued. And I think that was most important. I actually unfollowed the WNBA. I refollowed them today because finally they're getting to recognize and see the women as value rather than hiding behind, oh, nobody watches women's basketball. Oh, it's not a good product. If it's not a good product, how have you been around since 1995? They didn't advertise. And I talked about that. So I'm back. I'm back. I'm back. Shout out to the women. Everybody know Asia Wilson will be the first person to get a Supermax. I looked at their free agents, right? And they got a lot of free agents. They all get ready to get the bag. So shout out to all of the women in the WNBA and all of the women who are coming into the WNBA. Women's basketball, women's sports. And I said it, women's sports is fast rising. Women's basketball leagues are popping up everywhere. We already know Unrivaled is good, right? They're coming on, they're growing, adding new clubs every year. I think a new basketball league started out in one of the Carolinas, North Carolina, with 4 teams last year. I've talked about how Serena Williams and her husband, Alexis Ohanian, started a women's track club. I've never seen a women's competitive track club. It's just women's sports. It doesn't even include men, which is weird, but that's what it is. Because why? Women's sports, they're capitalizing off the uptick in women's sports. So I just want to say congratulations to everybody involved, people who played since the 90s, people who hung in there, when it was tough, right? This was a process. This was a long process, decades-long process for these women finally to get their due. And there are women that came and left the WNBA and never got their just due. And they're the ones sitting back watching the women come behind them that they paved the way for to get the benefits. So they did the labor, and the new group is getting the benefits. So shout out to everybody involved and for those that paved the way. So congratulations to WNBA. All right. And shout out to Asia Wilson, because I know between her Nike deal and her Supermax, her income is getting ready to skyrocket. So shout out to the WNBA. All right, on the basketball, before we move on, all of the buzz and the March Madness is how Howard University men's basketball defeated University of Maryland, Baltimore County, UMBC, and I watched that game last night. I was watching the highlights again before it started, and how Howard University is getting ready to play Michigan. I'm gonna watch that. So I don't know if I'm gonna be live, but I want to see how it goes. I just want to see how it goes. Of course, I'm rooting for the real HU, depending on what part of the country you're in. It's Hampton or Howard. But for today, it's Howard University. And they always come to Georgia to play Georgia Tech, right? And I didn't record it, but, I'm out screaming HU, the real HU or whatever, and people respond to it. So shout out to Howard. I'm nice to see them advance. And I heard that their men's and women's were in the tournaments this year for March Madness. So good luck to everybody over in DC at Howard University. Shout out to the HBCU world, getting mad love. 5 HBCU teams, I think, made it to the March Madness tournament. Some men's and women's, and I think that's pretty good. So shout out to the HBCU world. All right, we're rooting for you, Howard. We don't know how it's gonna go, but we're rooting for you. All right, so let's talk about what we came for. All right, y'all know I love sports, period. It don't matter. I'm keeping my eye on the Indianapolis 500. I heard that Cincinnati, the coach from Indiana, will be the pace car driver. Why am I paying attention to the Indianapolis 500? Because Michael Jordan's 23 racing is expected to possibly win that, and that would give him like a triple crown or something like that. I think he's already won 2 of their big races. This will be a 3, and it's going to be all eyes on the Indy 500. So shout out to them. I'm excited to see if Michael Jordan can win this one, because if so, he's just going to sweep it, right? And he already said it felt like another race for him. So it's just exciting to bring to the sport of NASCAR. So if y'all are some racing fans or just kind of curious, the Indy 500, look up the date. You might want to check in on that. All right. Who I want to talk about first? Let's go to Ryan Staub. All right. So y'all know Coach Prime referred to Ryan Staub as Martin Luther Staub, and people had mixed reactions to it. I'll just say it that way. And it seems that Ryan, he transferred out, and he's getting a lot of love. I said it. This is the most popular third-string quarterback ever that's on tour, right? And I said yesterday his comments when he was talking about Coach Prime. since he over at Tennessee, they got him on the podium asking questions. I don't even know who the other two quarterbacks are at Tennessee, but they seem to love Ryan Staub, and this might be why. So yesterday, Ryan Staub said that when he was asked about Coach Prime, he talked about, how he's an unbelievable person, this, that, and the other. And I was like, I'm not sure what that means, but we'll have to wait. We'll hang out. We'll come back and see what transpires. Well, let's talk about what transpired today. So I think at some point, either this clip was taken from the long form interview and it's starting to go viral. This is Ryan Staub talking about his 3-year career in football, which is, if I'm not mistaken, he was at Colorado the entire time for 3 years, 2 years behind Shedeur and 1 year last year. And everybody knows last year was a disaster. So let's just take a listen to his thoughts about his football career for 3 years. I find it's very interesting. All right, let's go.
In my 3 years of 3 years of playing college football, I haven't had as much coaching as I've had in the first month that I've been here. So every time he pulls me to the side after a rep and talks to me about my feet or my base or the way my off arm was on the throw or whatever happened on the rep, it's cool. It's a lot of special coaching. I haven't been coached this much, and again, I'm just trying to learn as much as I can and improve.
Okay, I'm gonna play that one more time. For those that may have missed it.
In my 3 years of 3 years of playing college football, I haven't had as much coaching as I've had in the first month that I've been here. So,
all right, that's the part right there. So this part is starting to go viral because people are saying this is hella concerning because he's been playing 3 years of football and he's had more coaching at Tennessee, which he just got there, than all of the 3 years at Colorado. Now that's gonna be problematic. At this point, I started wondering if our guys don't even make it to the season because, bro, this is about to be a hit job. This is why you don't call people Martin Luther Staub. This is why you don't do it. And I think this was going to happen. When I saw him come back to CU after he committed, of all places, in the SEC of all schools, Tennessee, I was like, yeah, I don't know. And even I didn't anticipate them putting him on the podium. I just felt like once the season started or the offseason, they were going to try to get some sound bites and try to get him, to talk about Coach Prime. Now, somebody in the comments after hearing this said, it's amazing that, Ryan Staub didn't know what he was saying, but it was also very telling, but he didn't know he was saying. I said, hello, he knew exactly what the hell he was saying. He knew exactly what the hell he was saying. First of all, Ryan Staub is reported to be the front runner for the quarterback position at Tennessee. They have 3 quarterbacks. I think he was third string at Colorado, lands himself in the SEC, no NFL aspirations, somehow, not a lot of coaching. Last year was a disaster, but he makes it over to Tennessee, and he's the front runner after not getting a lot of coaching and it being a disaster. He's the front runner at Tennessee, and they keeping him on the podium talking about his career, which was at Colorado, which is pointing directly back at Coach Prime, trying to say Coach Prime, the undervalued Ryan Staub when he really a star, and the coaching must not know how to coach. And all I saw under the comments was, I told you so, I told you so, I told you so. I don't know what the hell it is that they told, but we watched this kid play. So, I wonder how Coach Prime feel about calling Ryan Staub Martin Luther Staub now, because they're about to do a straight up hit job on Coach Prime using this kid right here. Why do you think he at Tennessee? Why do you think, 1, he's in the SEC? 2, why is he at Tennessee? And 3, why is he the front runner when last year was an absolute disaster? Oh, okay, that was Coach Prime's fault. Okay, I get it. He knew exactly what he was saying, and I knew when he came back to take that photo with Coach Prime after committing at Tennessee, it was more of a brag. Like, see, despite what you thought about me, I made it, and here we are. Here we are. This is the second soundbite to come from his interviews. And the first one, I put a question mark behind and said, I'm going to put that one on pause. And this one right here confirms what I was thinking about the first one. And it's not going to be the end of it, right? So now we're going to start. And I said, why are we seeing Ryan Staub so much? Because it's calculated. So now he's going to be the one to lead. I just said this yesterday. I said, now that so many people have left, there's been so much turnover at Colorado, people are going to start talking. Here we go. This is today. Yesterday was a question mark. Today, exclamation mark. I just said this was going to happen. He's not going to be the only one. They just going to start. He going to be the first one. And let's see who's next, right? We know people always leave the program and they seem disgruntled and they have some things to say, but this is probably the first one that they're trying to protect Staub by saying he don't know what he's saying. And then say at the same time, what he's saying is very concerning considering where he left from. And who said that? Buff podcasters. And what did I say? It's more rats at CU than it is buffaloes. This is why, as much as you want to welcome people and embrace them, you got to be careful. You got to be careful. Because when they turn around and burn you, it's just going to turn into the village coming to do what? You think about who we talking about here, right? So Ryan Staub knew what he was saying. I don't know why anybody would say he don't know what he's saying. He knew exactly what the hell he was saying. Did Coach Prime know what he was saying when he called Ryan Staub Martin Luther King? It sounded good. Would I have done that? No. I'm like, no, and definitely not now. Because in hindsight, in hindsight, no. So let me know what you think about it. Because yeah, no. No, absolutely not. Absolutely not. I don't know if I'm gonna keep being bombarded with Ryan Staub interviews, but I have a feeling this entire offseason is going to be dedicated by people you can't see to proving that Coach Prime is not a good coach, which will lead to inevitably him being fired, which we can now start having a conversation because it's coming. You best believe it's coming. And this is a part of that attack to say he's not a good coach. What happened yesterday? What did we talk about yesterday? I said, oh, I see that they are on phase 2 of pushing out Coach Prime. What did I say phase 2 was? Bring in the new guy. What's phase 4? Phase 3, push him out. This is the push out. This is the push out. When you have a kid who was third string and Coach Prime is on the record saying he would have wrote Ryan Staub a letter to go somewhere else, and that kid fails up to a bigger program than the one he left and start saying things like this with people protecting him saying he don't know what he's saying, this is part of the push out. And when you have buff podcasters jumping on it, this is part of the push out. That is why CU is not highlighting Coach Prime on their platform. Instead, they are highlighting his replacement. Everybody knows Brenda Marion is Coach Prime's replacement. What you are now seeing after stage 1, bring in the new guy. Stage 2, which I discussed yesterday, was put him out there. Get people to love him, get people to like him. Talk about him, and then quietly would just push you away. Now, mind you, there's a problem here. What's the problem? Money. They don't want to pay Coach Prime his buyout. What happened with Sharon Moore? They looked for a reason to do what? And it got very dramatic, didn't it? To push him out with cause so he doesn't get his $14 million buyout. They did all of that to avoid a $14 million buyout, knowing this man and his mistress have dishes named at them at the Brown Jug, a local restaurant in Michigan, which meant everybody knew. And they were filmed together, photographed together on the field. Everybody knew. But they were like, oh, it's time to push out Sharon Moore, and we don't want to give him his buyout. So they found a way to do it and did. And the worst part of it is, I don't know how they convinced that man who charges was dropped to agree to signing a plea deal for trespassing when she left the door unlocked, because she probably left the door unlocked 400 times. For him, I'm going to leave the door unlocked for you. I'm on my way. The door's unlocked. But suddenly it's trespassing. But all the charges were dropped and he doesn't get his buyout. If he didn't agree to that, he probably could have sued him. So his own lawyer screwed him over. So now it's Coach Prime's turn. And his buyout is a big fish. I think about maybe $44 million. It's not a question of if he's going to be fired. It's when. I say 4 games in. It might be 2. Shit, even after this, I don't know if he's going to make it to the season. Because if you think they're not going to use this to push and push and push, now what is it they want him to do? They want Coach Prime to do what? They want him to just quit. Why? So they don't have to pay the buyout. So basically, when they gave Livingston his contract first and gave Coach Prime his second. What did they do? They gave him a contract in optics only, because you knew the whole time what the plan was. And they knew the plan was never for him to get that money. So if he's still there and they're on phase 2.1 of pushing him out because they got the new guy being the likability person and posted him instead, and then I got Ryan Staub over here from Tennessee lashing out. This gonna go on our off season. And these are buff people. This is concerning. So Coach Prime's credibility is being ripped to shreds. And why are they doing that? That's phase 4. Make sure he never coaches again in college football on a major level. Oh, he's not a good coach. He's just a marketer. They were saying that last year. So they got somebody on the record who they deem credible to say some things, and they go run and cover Ryan Staub. Why they use it to push out Coach Prime? It's not if, it's when. Let me know what you think about Ryan Staub's comments. All right. Yeah. So let's move on to Cleveland. All right. So pretty much free agency is kind of over. Yesterday, I reported that the Browns went idle. They kind of really didn't do too much. They didn't even touch the wide receiver room. So I think I'm right when I say that they're not trying to win. They didn't even touch the wide receiver room, and everybody hoped that the Browns gonna draft what? Some wide receivers, right? Everybody's holding out for hope that the Browns gonna draft some wide receivers. They might draft some wide receivers, but are they gonna be first and second? No, they didn't even get a veteran. Instead, they gave you a soundbite from Mary Cabot or talking points from Mary Cabot that said what? They gave you talking points from Mary Cabot that said they're gonna trade Jerry Jeudy probably coming off in the offseason. That was supposed for us to just shut up. That's the most they're going to do to the wide receiver room. They're not going to get no talent. Are they going to get Ty Simpson or Garrett Nussmeier? Are they going to package up their 9 picks, their draft picks? And are they going to trade up for somebody? Honestly, if you handle the priorities for the O-line in one fell swoop, when free agency started, and that was your splash, and you left the left tackle open, and you got $23 million in salary cap, and you know you're going to trade Jeudy later, why you just don't trade Jeudy right now? Why wait and not get somebody now committed to come in and start building chemistry now? Shedeur's in Cleveland. Quietly, they don't talk about it. They don't talk about it. Shedeur's been up there. Titus Howard mentioned Shedeur is one of the first people he met. So we know what that looks like. We know Shedeur's out there working. Why not bring in the wide receivers he's going to work with now? Isn't that what the other teams are doing? They've already signed their free agents contracts, and guess what? They getting together, they meeting the team, and they're meeting their new people. They definitely going to meet their quarterback, and they're going to work in the offseason. But the Browns want to wait. Why? To put the quarterback, whoever it is, at a disadvantage, because I don't want you to hang out with the wide receiver. I want to keep Jerry Jeudy around. So they're going to keep Jerry Jeudy on the string, and then he going to go somewhere. We don't care if he's going to be at a disadvantage. But the Browns are putting the quarterback, whoever it is, which is a major problem, at a disadvantage. That means they don't respect any of their quarterbacks, which is Deshaun or Shedeur. They don't respect either one of them, because you brought in the linemen so I can get comfortable with them, but who the hell are my targets? If they the same targets as last year, oh, they definitely not trying to win, especially if it's Jerry Jeudy. So the problem is the priorities that were set forth in free agency was what? The O-line, the wide receiver room. For the most part, that was it. They didn't even touch the wide receiver room. They didn't touch it. So it should let you know that as we're coming into the season and people realize Dillon is going to be gone, he about to be set free. While the other two just going to be over here and they got to get what they get. And here's the thing. They talked about quarterbacks connecting and the team signing free agent wide receivers that have chemistry already with the quarterback. I think Cam Ward. They prioritize Cam, seemingly. Seemingly. At least verbally, at least optically. Optically, they're making it seem like they're preparing Cam to be the franchise. They're giving Cam the benefits of what quarterbacks get, the perks, choosing your wide receiver. The team considering a wide receiver you already have chemistry with, where it can only get better. That's what they're doing for Cam. Whereas Cleveland, quarterback room is an afterthought. When your quarterback room is an afterthought and they get the leftovers, the scraps, and they get them late and they get them cold, I'm not trying to position you to win. No point in having a competition. Maybe that's why we don't hear about it no more. They just going to rotate whoever they get. They don't want to compete because they're probably going to get somebody in the draft. You think they're going to get somebody in the draft who's probably a third round pick, who's not that good, to compete against Shedeur? They already know how that's going to work out. So that's why you don't hear about the competition. To compete against Deshaun, who's good? That's why you don't hear about the competition. Sure, I can make Deshaun and Shedeur compete, but how would that look if I draft somebody else or bring in a free agent? Am I going to put them in a competition and Shedeur and or Deshaun defeat them? Am I really going to take that risk? Why you don't hear from Monken? So the Browns are doubling down and getting ready to repeat last season. What did I say? You're going to see the same thing from last year minus the public sabotage. But you're going to see that quiet sabotage. You just got to know what it looked like. And you should know what it looked like. All you got to do is look at what Monken did in Baltimore, and he bringing it over to there. Baltimore has proven to be shiesty. And Monken was a part of that. Andrew Berry has proven to just be a shield for whatever the owner wants to do, using his melanin so nobody will say, oh, you're racist. That's just what that is. And the Browns have proven that Andrew Berry did not draft Dylan. Stefanski did. And they going to not talk about Dylan because they don't want to destroy whatever value he possibly has. And then we're going to let Deshaun and Shedeur just languish by the wayside. Because Shedeur in town and we don't even talk about it. Are they bringing in Jordan Tyson? I mean, they could, right? Because fans and analysts are on the same page for the most part. The Browns, who largely handle the O-line, can use 2 of those 9 picks, trade up, and get 2 of the best receivers in the draft. The Browns have an opportunity to do something special. They do. They have an opportunity to do something really special. Guess what? They had an opportunity to do something special last year because they got the number 2 overall pick that they were going to draft for $40 million at a deep discount. If he's a deep discount, then he had high value. If he had high value, you had the opportunity to do something special last year. Instead, you left him, fed him to the wolves, led by Stefanski, to try to destroy and derail him. This is the Browns. Haslam, the owner, wanted Deshaun. Haslam, the owner, is on the record. Shedeur was my pick, and Shedeur was treated like he wasn't the owner's pick. The owner ran out there with 4 people behind him in tow at the game. Just weeks before, 4 people robbed Shedeur Sanders. The owner is the reason we don't know Shedeur's in town. The owner is the reason the running back, the wide receiver room hasn't been touched, that the wide receivers untouched and the O-line replaced, not upgraded. Swapped out bodies. Matter of fact, give me 4 black bodies so they can shut up. At least they know who's talking. At least they listening to what's being said, that they racist. That they racist. And people want to point it out every day and talk about how embarrassing it is. Let me see y'all do something about it. Because that's where we at. We know what it is. We know what it is. They're going to move Dylan on because they don't want to put him in a position that they want to put Deshaun and Shedeur, which is why Vegas already knows the Browns going to only win 6 games. They've already decided that. Guess what else they already decided? That the quarterback room will likely remain as it is until the 2027 draft. So they already know they're not going to do too much. They're not upgrading the O-line. They just swapped out old, aging, missing skill set incompetence. Instead of the dirt diving, you're going to see guys that already struggle in pass blocking, guys that already struggle in run blocking, because that's what they went and got, which meant they're not serious. And further proof of that is you didn't touch the wide receiver room. You just told us you're going to upgrade it way down the line when it's too late for these guys to get together and work out. You know why that is? Because if Shedeur knew who was coming in, if that person was already picked up in free agency, you know, we would see Shedeur and that person working out together. Well, I guess they're going to eliminate that by keeping you guessing as to who it's going to be. And when did they come out and say that they were going to make a change to the wide receiver room, in particular Jerry Jeudy? 5 days after Jerry Jeudy and Shedeur surfaced to be working out together. You know what the Browns' message is? Oh, that's a waste of time. And now we're not going to tell you who we're going to get because Shedeur going to go out here and get ready. So what does that mean? They don't want Shedeur to get ready. And y'all now know why they talking up Shedeur as a starter, because they're putting him at a disadvantage. Shedeur can always overcome disadvantages. We've seen it so many times. But why would the Browns, who sabotaged Shedeur last year, put him at a disadvantage this year with the wide receivers and the O-line? Keeping up appearances. We giving y'all the impression we doing something, but we ain't doing shit. We just waiting for 2027. So pretty soon from now, probably when we get to the summer, you're going to hear a lot about the 2027 draft. Right after the 2026 draft is over, probably not 24 hours. Who's available in the 2027 draft? Who's coming to Cleveland? They're going to start tracking it, and they're going to overtalk the whole 2026 season with 2027 information, because that's what they was trying to do last year until the Manning kids season started to go to the wayside. But like I said, he finished with 3,000 yards. That's probably where they're going to start, because he in the top 5. Now, why is it that it's already been said that the Manning's not letting Arch Manning go to the Jets? I've never heard anybody say that about the Browns, not officially on the record, because that's where he's going. That's the eggs that they're putting all of their basket in, including who's in the shadows. How long before Peyton Manning comes out the shadows? Are we going to wait till the Epstein files just blow over? And that's probably not going to happen, because Zorro Ranch is kicking up. So that's not going to happen. How long will he stay in the shadows while Monken is on the ground, who's part of the Manning coaching circle, along with Sarkisian, where Arch Manning currently goes to school? Because let's not forget, Monken did not recruit Shedeur out of high school. He recruited Arch Manning, but then he left for Baltimore. So he had to put a pin in it. Guess what? He's back to take that pin out. Tom Telesco was on the ground before Monken was hired. Tom Telesco scouted for Peyton Manning, whatever the hell that means. Oh, and now they're showing videos of Peyton Manning's son, Marshall Manning, playing quarterback in high school. They feel like they got it on lock. They do not value the best quarterback that came out in the last draft and this draft. They are willing to position Cam verbally as we're preparing him to be the franchise, while pretending they don't know Shedeur's in Cleveland, pretending that they don't know he's elite, because they do not want to commit to him. But what they are smart enough to understand after last year's PR nightmare where Stefanski made himself a legal liability, which is why he's gone, is we can't play in Shedeur face publicly like that. No, you can't. You can't. That's why they went out and got a new O-line. Just new bodies, but not a better skill set. And they taking heat for it. Guess who's going to catch that heat? The same person who caught the heat for Deshaun. Andrew Berry. And it's designed that way. I said Andrew Berry is only useful through this upcoming draft. They didn't do anything at free agency with the wide receiver or the quarterback. They haven't committed to a quarterback. They're going to trade a wide receiver. They got 9 picks. They need an offensive tackle on the left, a left tackle, and they need at least 2 wide receivers. Let's see what they do with those 9 picks. We haven't seen Andrew Berry's jaw-dropping shakeup, and we never saw it in free agency. And now the quarterback room might stay exactly like it is to the 2027 draft, which makes me think you're going to take them 9 picks and sell them. That's just a colloquial way of saying I'm not using them to beef up this class because I don't want those wide receivers in the draft to start working out with who we don't know is the quarterback, Shedeur Sanders. If the draft is in April and they draft Jordan Tyson and Cornell Tate, what do you think is going to happen where Shedeur is concerned? He's going to start wanting to work out with him, and they're going to want to work out with him. They don't want that. So they probably spiteful. They so damn spiteful. They probably not going to even get no goddamn wide receivers except for maybe late. And before that wide receiver signed his contract, he probably going to get a talking to. Colbert, Superman. They're going to get somebody that they think is controllable, which is why they never talked about Jordan Tyson. Why? Because he already has a relationship with Shedeur because he played at Colorado. That's one. What happened with Jerry Jeudy? Who knew Shedeur before Shedeur got to Cleveland? What did they do when Jerry Jeudy, before he even got back to mandatory camp? Had him sharing a locker with Flacco. Why? Telling him this is going to be the quarterback. So Flacco leaving seems like it was impromptu. And that opened the gate for Shedeur to get to the front. That pissed Stefanski off. But Stefanski's gone. And instead of loud sabotage, we're seeing quiet sabotage. You just got to be savvy enough, smart enough to see that the moves that they are making is the quiet sabotage, or the moves that they are not making. Not bringing in free agency wide receivers now, choosing to do it later so there's no time to build chemistry. That's how you know Shedeur going to be the quarterback. Bringing in an O-line, shout out to Titus Howard, who is saying good things about Shedeur. Might be why KT Leviston moved up from the 3 to the 2 behind Titus, who's the 1. So he can do what he did last year, and then it'll confirm whether or not he was having a bad year. I don't think he was having a bad year. I think he's desperate to make the team. And when people are desperate, they can use desperation as leverage. So will Titus Howard get moved out the way for KT Leviston now that he's on the record saying, he knows Deshaun and he thinks Shedeur is this great guy, that great guy? I mean, why not? Because Quinshon Judkins, they want to replace him because he got injured. He said, sure, I'm fine. I love to be the underdog. You're going to replace Quinshon Judkins because he talked about some of the things Shedeur went through. That's how he said. He didn't even tell you what it is. He just said the things that Shedeur endured. So every moment that something happens in the Browns orbit where a person speaks up for, acknowledges, or stands next to Shedeur, they get booted out. Is that why Titus Howard's contract came in $63 million and they decided to restructure it so fast? Because it's when he get the money, and he's not going to get the money as fast as he was going to get the money because he on the record talking about Shedeur is this and Shedeur is that, and it's all positive. Is that why that happened? He just got there. Nobody else's contract got restructured like that. So they are already manipulating when you're going to get the money. Now, mind you, it's guaranteed, but I can still do like this and then magically find a way for your contract to no longer be guaranteed or something. They can void their guarantees. So seemingly everybody that does something, and I'm happy to see that, Quinshon not backing off. I'm happy to see, I don't know how Titus is going to handle the situation, but I did wonder why it was that they said that they restructured his contract to make more money or something. When you signed his contract, you didn't know you needed more money? No, that's not why you restructured his contract. That's not why they restructured the Denzel Ward contract. They only got $2 million from that, and they're not even using it. Free agency is over. They still got $21 million, at least $21 to $25 million. So restructuring Denzel Ward to get $2 million was not about money because you didn't use it. You never had plans to use it. And Titus just got his contract. And out of all of the people they brought in, he was the most vocal, and they had to restructure his money. But you didn't think before you had him sign his contract, let me position it financially this way? No. So now you got to pay attention to whose contracts are being restructured. I'm assuming Myles Garrett is next. And when they're doing these restructurings, what the hell is being said? Because if I get the same money, what's the point? But look at whose contracts are being restructured. And look at what they do with the money when they get it. Not a goddamn thing. Denzel Ward was a complete waste of time. But what did they say before they restructured his contract? He was going to be cut. So I guess it's best that he restructure and agree to whatever the hell it is that they put before him. But if he get the same money, then what's the point? And if you don't do nothing with the paltry $2 million you got from the restructure, what was the point? So what is being said during this restructure period? How is this restructure period being used to possibly coerce and or intimidate? What the hell is it about the restructure that you would just restructure a contract that was just signed and the ink is not even dry? After a person speaks positively about the quarterback you do not want to commit to, let me know your thoughts. There's something there. And I've had conversations with people on X where they tell me, I mean, they still get the same money. It's just a matter of when they get it. That's supposedly only the difference. But the way it's being weaponized, is there a conversation to be had, or is it just done digitally and I don't need nothing from you? I could just mess with the money you get this year and next year. I don't know. Let me know your thoughts. All right, let's take a listen. I thought this was a bit comical. So, we want to have a little comic relief because these topics can get a little heavy, especially when we talk about the NFL, because as I have said before, and I'm going to say it again, the NFL has to be the most oppressive sports league that I have covered. And I felt this way previously about the WNBA, but you see that things are looking up for the WNBA players. It's no longer feeling oppressive. Will there be a time that the NFL gets to that point? The women in the WNBA were devalued, and some people could say just solely because they were women, right? Women in sports, sometimes people think don't mix. I see a lot of sexist comments every day. I just hit the block button and keep going. People feel like women need to be in the kitchen, not playing sports and not covering and not speaking, talking about sports and definitely not analyzing sports. So you could say that that's what it was. But then when you look at it's a black-led sport, then that's where the racial component comes in. People call it racial politics. It's racism. And it's harmful. And that's what held the WNBA down for so long. Look at the way they treated Angel Reese. I mean, that made it very obvious. And then there's the NFL, who doesn't seem to be close at all to getting better and valuing a sport, a league where the players are black-led. It's a black-led sport. I mean, it took Major League Baseball to fall off, but they still don't have a lot of black people. That's why it's falling off. The UFL is coming online, and I guess they want to value an audience, whoever listens to Gucci Mane, because he's doing the halftime show in Birmingham at their first home opening for the season. I never heard them do that before. But then there's the NFL. Not the term I heard used after reading the book Turf Wars, aggressively. They forced them to submit, aggressively forced them to submit. And what we're seeing with Max Crosby, it's not just black players. What we saw with Wyatt Teller, it's not just black players. Flacco seemingly booted out, not just black players. But is there a difference, right? Because you're looking at the hiring and how they're talking about, I guess there's one coach that ended up on LSU's coaching staff, T. Martin. I don't know if he came from the Ravens or if he came from NFL team. And he found this stuff in college, and people were upset because they said he should have at least been an offensive coordinator because they don't value the black men who lead their sport. They only want them to be the number of the bodies on the field. using the same language of the surface on where they pick cotton. And when you look at how they set out to devalue Shedeur and Deshaun holding him hostage and all of this aggressive restructuring and whose contracts are restructured and who they want to think about bringing back Batonio after he was caught dirt diving. There's absolutely zero consequences for the way the Ravens devalue Max Crosby, because that's the end result. And Max Crosby said Shedeur was his little brother. So as I pointed out, there are about 100 people a day running around trying to devalue Shedeur and retaliate against the people who support, embrace, speak up, or acknowledge how he was abused. I cover other sports, and it feels so refreshing because on the field, it's just about the sports. The NFL has a dark cloud over it between the Epstein files and the racism against Black players, which is persistent. It's a stain to where decent people are moving away and finding another sport to cover. But the question is, how long will the Black men continue to sign up for the aggressive submission of their Black bodies? Be dehumanized, humiliated. It's always a humiliation component. Controlled, coerced, devalued, disrespected. You could play for me, but you can't coach for me. One former player who was Black was thankful that he was hired in the ticket office to sell tickets for the team. I'm like, that's the only job they can find for him? As a former player? He didn't learn anything so much that he could coach or assist, but he could sell tickets. And you grateful for scraps. How long before the men in the NFL, especially the Black men and the white ones who are retaliated against for embracing, supporting, or being human or compassionate towards the Black men that are being abused? How long before, like the women in the WNBA, they stand their ground on their worth and use time as leverage? For as much as people hate women in sports, from what I can see, that's where the truth comes from, with people speaking out, and where the action comes from in terms of forward movement and progress. Because they're not afraid to stand down for each other and against the establishment. And they strategize using time as leverage. There's some lessons there. Shout out to the WNBA players. All right, so I want y'all to hear this. So I think this is interesting. This is Debo and Joe, and then they talking about the Browns. And we'll get out of here after that.
Dylan Gabriel ain't even there, huh?
It's Deshaun Watson and Shedeur and Shedeur's team.
Why you ain't giving no respect to Dylan
That's
Gabriel,
what I'm telling you. That's what I'm trying to tell you. If Dylan,
you get some, put his name and say his name.
Dylan Gabriel. Dylan
Say his
Gabriel.
name.
Dylan Gabriel don't got to be on the team. He could slide. Third string quarterback is not about to be the reason why we're tripping.
Ain't that what they were saying about Shedeur? Third string quarterback ain't gonna be the reason why we
I'm gonna tell you this.
Getting all this media, and that was why your boy over there, Stefanski, was like, "Yo, I don't want this. I don't need this. This is the third string quarterback." What Dylan Gabriel's fiance was saying about all the teammates wanting him to actually be the starter was a lie.
Dylan might have false reported how many teammates wanted him to be the starting quarterback to his old lady. You gonna go tell your lady how you feel? Like, nah, baby, I'm killing them in practice.
And if you good at lying to yourself, that's
what I'm saying. I'm not trying to put that on, but like, yeah.
And then they went and set my man up, get his house knocked in, trying to knock his confidence for the
that's
game.
just people being foul.
Inside job.
Wait a minute. Hold up. Outside of myself, this is the first time I've heard anybody else say it was an inside job. Take a listen.
And if you good at lying to yourself, That's
That's
the
what I'm
worst thing in
saying.
the
I'm
world
not
to
trying to
do.
put that on, but like, yeah.
And then they went and set my man up, get his house knocked in, trying to knock his confidence for the
That's just
game.
people being foul.
Inside
shut up.
job.
No.
Ooh.
Dylan Gabriel ain't even there, huh?
Now, it's Deshaun Watson and
Did
Shedeur
y'all hear that?
and Shedeur's team.
Why you ain't giving no respect
Listen,
to Dylan
that's
Gabriel,
what I'm telling
man?
you. That's what I'm trying to tell you. If Dylan,
You get some,
if
put his name and
if
say
it's
his
just
name.
Dylan
Joe.
Gabriel. Dylan
Say his
Gabriel.
name.
Dylan Gabriel don't got to be on the team. He could slide. Third string quarterback is not about to be the reason why we're tripping.
Ain't that what they were saying about Shedeur, third string quarterback? Ain't gonna be the reason why we
I'ma
up
tell
here,
you this.
getting all this media, and that was why your boy over there, Stefanski, was like, "Yo, I don't want this. I don't need this. This is the third string quarterback." What Dylan Gabriel's fiance was saying about all the teammates wanting him to actually be the starter was a lie.
Dylan might have false reported how many teammates wanted him to be the starting quarterback to his old lady. You gonna go tell your lady how you feel? Like, nah, baby, I'm killing them in practice.
And if you good at lying to yourself, that's
what I'm saying. I'm not trying to put that on, but like, yeah.
And then they went and set my man up, get his house knocked in, trying to knock his confidence for the
That's just
game.
people being foul.
Inside job.
Whoa.
Dylan Gabriel ain't even there, huh?
Now, it's Deshaun Watson
Did
and
y'all
Shedeur.
for the second time? Did y'all hear that? Inside job. They went and knocked my boy house, trying to shake his confidence. Inside job. Yeah, this gotta be. I know outside of me. Anybody with a microphone that does this consistently, analyzing football and talks about the NFL, they gotta be the only people outside of myself to admit with a microphone that this was an inside job designed to disrupt Shedeur. This is good. This is good. This is good. Let me know what you think. This is good. Shout out to Debo and Joe, because okay, we get to a little place. We get somewhere. We get somewhere. We get somewhere. So if the players can keep speaking out despite the retaliation, and then they need to get together. Somebody need to sue these folks. And I know it takes forever in court, but it makes a statement. And I'm talking about the players. Sure, the fans can do it from a fan perspective, but it's not the same, right? If the players get together, like the coaches did, there's a class action lawsuit for coaches, Black coaches. If the players get together, Black and white, who were retaliated against, like Max Crosby, Shedeur, some of the other guys, I ain't gonna call them out because then they're gonna get retaliated against tomorrow. Yeah, that blow it wide open. But it's this whole, this is the type of thing that I wonder if the Medina County Police, who said they felt like it was a robbery for hire, if they willing to go down the inside the road investigation, inside job investigation. Because they didn't seem to be willing to do that. And I don't know how you could be willing to close a case when you need suspect number 4 and he was found in the same place where you found the other 3. And Stefanski got fired the same day they found suspect number 3. And he fails up. Inside job to knock Shedeur's confidence, to disrupt him. At the same time, he's playing his first NFL game in the regular season. They're trying to ruin it. So they're trying to ruin his joy. It confirms what people said. They knew when Shedeur was going to be playing. So we just got a little closer. I told you, I want to see what happens after Dylan, and now Dylan for sure, and Jerry Jeudy leave Cleveland. Some people on that team befriended Shedeur to get over his house. And now all these people gonna be gone. Stefanski, Dylan, Jerry Jeudy. We saw who was over there. David Bush was over there. All the saboteurs. Jack Conklin, Batonio, Cam Robinson, gone. KT Leviston, the only one that's over there. And he just magically moved up from 3 to 2 again. After Titus Howard had a glowing conversation about Shedeur. Let me see what y'all saying about these. And it's funny, I listened to this clip and I think I made it to the part because I was laughing when they was talking about Dylan Gabriel's girlfriend. She lied. I didn't even make it past that. I was like, oh, I'm going to share this because I think the fan base, the supporters of the community, we will find it funny. I didn't even make it past that. So to hear, I would have played that first. I would have clipped that and played that first. Oh, it's the game changer right here. Kyle be a detective because wait a minute. So there are some football players, NFL players, who believe that Shedeur Sanders' robbery was an inside job designed to shake his confidence. And the police believe that, let me get it right. The police believe that it was a robbery for hire. So let me come this way. A robbery for hire, an inside job designed to shake Shedeur's confidence. And then in the middle, we're going to get a little closer, that only Myles Garrett and Shedeur were robbed. And then the owner was seen with 4 people standing behind him at a game where they allowed Bucky to film the first time. And then there was the Steelers game where the girl who works for the Browns was seen following Shedeur around off the clock. So how far was she following him? Did she follow him to his house, or did she need to? Because HR for the Browns has what? Your address. And Shedeur was in a rental house. So for sure, it was an inside job. For sure, it was a robbery for hire. The police said they couldn't prove it. Is that really the case? Should they have looked on the inside, in particular at the person on the Browns payroll? And it wouldn't surprise me if she don't work there no more. It don't matter. Believe me, it don't. Who was following Shedeur off the clock. It is motive to follow your employee off the clock after they arrived. I mean, before they arrived. So come on now. See it with me. See it with me. Inside job. Robbery for hire. Confirmed. Circumstantial evidence never investigated by the police. The inside job, Berea. Oh, they got to reopen the case. And when you put the fact that they trying to quietly keep Dylan quiet over there while moving him out, they already committed to moving Judy out, who sabotaged and harassed Shedeur publicly. They got rid of the dirt. Cam Robinson. They got rid of Stefanski the same day they got number 3, and somebody was waiting in the bushes to film it, so they knew he was getting fired. The same day they caught suspect 3, no, a week after they caught suspect 3. Not the same day, it was a week. Somebody waited in the bushes, knew Stefanski was getting fired. So who gonna come out and tell the truth? Who set up the robbery? Because the robbers, one in particular, the getaway driver, was caught with thousands in cash. Who has access to liquid capital like that? Athletes, NFL people, coaches, owners. Number 3, the one they got last, wasn't on the camera at the hotel. Why? And we never saw the getaway driver in person because he was in the car. So none of them fit the profile of the bodies of the people that they arrested. And let's go back to the timing of when Bucky started filming. He was filming all these other NFL teams. And suddenly at the Miami game, the owner wants to have a photo op with 4 kids behind him. And people have confirmed those were not his grandkids. And the same number of people robbed Shedeur a couple of weeks later when Bucky wasn't allowed to film. And then Bucky was allowed to come back and film. Or excuse me, I'm not going to say Bucky wasn't allowed to film. That's the impression it gives. We don't know why Bucky didn't film magically the time his brother was robbed. It's almost like they're trying to tell you it was us. So did the same people that robbed Shedeur rob Myles Garrett? They said no. So you try to tell me somebody drove all the way from Atlanta, 22 hours round trip to hit up one NFL player, and they were caught with thousands in cash. And the police can prove it was a robbery for hire, but they say they can't prove who did it. But they never investigated inside Berea. And now we got NFL players talking. above ground, that it was inside job, something fans have already discussed. So we got fans and players, and only Myles Garrett and Shedeur were robbed. So, I mean, does that broaden the scope to the inside robberies happening to players that the Browns are retaliating against? I mean, the owner let us know how he felt about Shedeur. The owner was over there with 4 kids behind him when the Miami game. Let me know your thoughts. Shout out to Debo and Joe. That was a bonus right there. We're going to have to revisit this robbery. I think we shall. All right, so here we go. If you play spades, we're running a Boston over here. Straight, get ready to run a Boston. Straight, because that little tidbit right there. Ooh, and I know people got stuff to do in the middle of the day, so we finna run through these comments, and we gonna revisit this robbery. We gonna revisit this robbery. Absolutely. Cloudy and 66, unsunny South Florida. Shout out to y'all. Shout out to y'all. Ooh, that was good. That was good. That was good. It said, who is Staub related to for him to get that much buzz? I know that's right. I know that's right. It said, if Staub is all that, put him on the field. Yes, because I got to see this. It said, Coach Prime don't have to put his butt out there all the time. What you mean, Nisi? It said, I am wondering if he's related to Rusty Staub, former MLB player for the Mets. Could be. Very well could be. Let's see where Staub end up next year. Don't be surprised if it's the 3rd round in Cleveland. It said, I wondered if he's related to Rusty. He might be. Somebody can look into that. Staub wasn't a priority over Shedeur, Juju, or Caden. It said the same thing happened to Shedeur. He wasn't a priority over Dylan while in Cleveland. It said pecking order, but I do agree that all should be trained. Yeah. My thing is, for Staub to end up at Tennessee, knowing Haslam got buildings on the ground over there, and Peyton Manning over there, and he to end up at Tennessee, and they trying to go at Coach Prime, I think I already said that he probably gonna end up in the NFL, and I think that's why they elevated him to the SEC. He's bigger than the Big 12, and they gonna use this to get him over there. I think this is about get back. Get back for Coach Prime, coming to Colorado, having Shedeur out there, as if Shedeur wasn't like that. He didn't say my last year at Colorado. He said all 3 years. So basically, he's saying he didn't get any coaching while he was at Colorado when the assassin was at the helm, which is Shedeur Sanders. Yeah, this going to get a little weird. We're going to be talking about this. This going to get a little weird. See, other sports, you don't even see this kind of, there's no narrative like this. Like in basketball, there's no narrative. Before they brought in that whole gambling thing, there was no narrative like this. No narrative. It was just some drama from one player, but it wasn't a coach in college basketball outside of the dude that was a pimp, but that didn't have nothing to do with his son in the NBA. Football is so messy because it's rooted in racism. The narrative is racism. And as this continues to happen, you're going to see the handshake between the NCAA and the NFL, especially when it comes to these black quarterbacks. That's what you're going to see. That's what you're going to see. And don't be surprised if this inside robbery narrative gets a little louder, if they move Shedeur out to try to quiet it. Out where is another question, but don't be surprised because that was a gem right there that I didn't even know was in the damn video. And the question is, I'm going to take a poll of public perception because I want to get an idea of what people are thinking. Yeah, that's what we're going to do. We're going to do that. Yep, we're going to get right back on because I said I want to see what happened after Dylan leave. We're going to see any forward motion in this robbery because why haven't they already been extradited back to, because supposedly they've been there to Ohio. Now, don't forget the driver of the getaway car, the one caught with thousands Facebook page, had some breadcrumbs, if you will, pointing to Oregon football, University of Oregon, the NFL, Penn State. That's 5. That's 5 different breadcrumbs from a stale page pointing back to current events. And y'all wonder why this robbery trial thing, extradition is moving slow. Because if they were already extradited up there, and we didn't hear about it, they don't want you to hear about it. They could be sitting in jail for 3 years before they get back to Ohio, even if they didn't do it. Because who gonna listen to what they saying? And the more people talk about it being an inside job, that's caused to hire a private detective, send somebody up to the jail and interview all 4 of them. Because if I should do, I would do it. I would spend the money because it helped me and Miles Garrett. We gonna go in. We gonna go half because I want to know, did y'all have me robbed too? I mean, I feel like they trying to tell you when they only talk about Miles Garrett and Shedeur speeding tickets, only Miles Garrett and Shedeur were robbed, and now you got NFL players saying it was an inside job after the police confirmed it was a robbery for hire. So Miles Garrett was likely a robbery for hire too. Why? That definitely points to Cleveland, doesn't it? That definitely points for Cleveland, doesn't it? And they thought they were smart by supposedly not using the same crew. Did you use this crew at all? Maybe you did use this crew. We don't know what for, but maybe you did use this crew. When we gonna get to hear from them in court? When they gonna get their due process? They just sitting in jail. Let's see what happens. Let's see what happens. Oh, it said CP didn't have to put Staub out there. It said, this is what happened when you love these people. Tina said that was crazy. It said Staub trying to get him some shine. Time will tell. Facts, facts, facts. Hey, how you doing? Straight, how you doing? Staub didn't have the desire to go to the NFL. Someone got into his head, and now he's on tour to, to go professional while dragging pride. Right. Because and who win number 16 at Colorado right now? Right. So you already know what's going on. And shout out to Bryce Underwood. Magically, they speaking highly of him over at Michigan. Oh, we are committed to Bryce Underwood. He's our QB1 without a doubt. Whittingham, former Utah coach, is now over head coach at Michigan. This was after Bryce Underwood was set up while Sharon Moore was on trial defending being set up. Pay attention. Pay attention. Howard plays Michigan basketball on Thursdays. I'm looking into that. It said because he didn't think. It said they set him up good. It said sitting in court looking silly. Yes, yes, yes. It said Pat Schumer is who is coaching Ryan. It said, remember, he's an ex-NFL coach and Stefanski mentor. Right. And we asked, how the hell did Pat Schumer get hired at Colorado? Seemingly like Coach Prime has never had the ability to bring his own OCs in. Because if he did, they definitely set him up with Schumer and Livingston for sure. And these two are black, so I don't know, right? I told you yesterday, all black folk ain't skin folk. But just pay attention to who's gonna take this story and run with it. Just pay attention to the narrative from the Bus podcast, because I told you, why do you think I got the idea to call them rats? And now you're starting to see it. Sad, sad, sad. Ryan Staub was all the media needed to say, yep, that's all. Ryan Staub said what the media needs to hear. And the person that jumped to defend him, I'm like, how you gonna sit up here and say he don't know what he's saying? He know what he's saying. He said all 3 years at Colorado, and what he finna get out of it? Something he wasn't gonna get on his own, just like Dylan to the NFL. That's what's getting ready to happen. That shit. And watch this. I can't wait to find out who his passing coach academy is. Who? Because y'all know we should be hearing about the third string quarterback. 2 things. I said yesterday, who's the OC? And I named a bunch of schools. I said OSU, meaning the one in the Big 12 and the one in Ohio. You don't know. And I told y'all yesterday, and it should tell you that they knew this was coming. That's why they was putting out Marion yesterday. And that what should that tell you about him? Just look at Andrew Berry, and it's going to tell you the same thing. Just look at Andrew Berry, and it's going to tell you the same thing. They the same. They got the same MO. It's the same. And y'all think all skin folk are kin folk? People thought Andrew Berry drafted Shedeur. No, he tried to get rid of Shedeur using his connections. And clearly, he's added on to his connections, because at first, it was Philly and then Baltimore. Now, it's the Texans. Yeah, we keep taking CJ Stroud people, which is disruption to his team. Why is it not the 49ers? We don't have no connections out there? Chicago? I don't know. It said, remember the word style. Don't let the green grass fool you. Facts. Put that on your boy Pat Schumer. He was the one calling games. Facts. It said, that's a good point. That's a good point. Let's see. He said all 3 years. Pat Schumer, what 3 years? See, when people said he didn't know what he was doing, a normal teenager would have said, yeah, my time at Colorado, I would have known what the hell you meant. You said all 3 years. I have said this. I believe that CU is trying to absolve coordinator 1 for the offense, coordinator 2 for 2 years, and here we go with coordinator 3. Why are they using a black guy? You see? The NFL does the same thing. I said it. Does Jimmy Haslam have anybody sitting at CU? Are they any Tennessee alum, family, or something? Because of all 32 teams, why do the Browns do exactly what CU does exactly what the Browns do? Why? Why? I need to look into the regions. It's something there. Don't forget. Now, do not forget now. Jimmy Haslam's brother was the governor of the state of Tennessee. When Ryan Staub got to Tennessee, I said, oh, this is going to be interesting. I already said, watch where he end up in 2027. It's 2026, and look where he at. I said, how the hell he get to Tennessee? Now, I saw that little quarterback room. How he get to the front runner? See, they don't even care about football. They don't even care about football. They don't care about football, clearly, in NFL, because there's too many people trying to retaliate, coerce, intimidate people for Shedeur. They strategizing on how to make sure Shedeur don't have enough time to develop with a wide receiver. To make sure we don't bring in a wide receiver that Shedeur already know. That's what they spend their time doing. And you know what Colorado doing? Piggybacking off of the bullshit. You're not going to tell me it's a coincidence that what's happening to Shedeur in Cleveland is what they're trying to force Coach Prime to do to his own damn black quarterbacks. You're not going to tell me it's a coincidence that they are trying to put it out there with who they want to deem and make a credible source. Because guess what? Had Ryan Staub went to University of Nowhere, you think anybody would give a damn what he said about Colorado? No. So they thought about it. Let's send him over there to the SEC, and then we'll put him in the platform, and he's going to tell the story. And it's going to be credible because he failed up. Now let him go out there and ball out. But by the end, the damage going to be done. You best believe that. And they know that too. That's why, you know what I said? When I was making my citrus green tea today, I don't even know Coach Prime going to make it to game 1. Not with this hit job. The problem is, he clearly ain't quitting. He has no plans to quit, obviously. And they obviously have no plans of giving him $44 million. So how's this shit going to end before we get to the end of next season? Before Ryan Staub go out here and play and could be a disaster. All 3 years was intentional. A college student just said, my time at Colorado. Then again, they might have not said nothing. Especially if they know they ain't like that. So he think he like that. He think he warranted more time. I told you yesterday when he said Coach Prime was an unbelievable person, I was like, oh, yeah, question mark, because what? And here we are today. We just getting all kind of nuggets today. Well, I tell you, it's something else. This world is so much bigger than football. Time for a pivot. Hey, Z, how you doing? It said, after watching Well-Off Media last night, CP is living his life with his lady, looking at properties in St. Croix, Virgin Islands. No, that's good. It said he might be ready to plan his next move. He got no choice. He got no choice. This going down the road with his relationship on Well-Off Media makes more sense than anything, because it will prove that he's untouchable by what they're doing, and they already know. That they already know. So this line of filming is, don't forget, Bucky supposedly has a show that was pitched to a popular network. I'm thinking Amazon. I don't know, but we're gonna see. So this could be a part of that, but that is an attempt to salvage Coach Prime's reputation before is damaged because that's what they're trying to do. And they're trying to paint him as a person. That hence the term unbelievable person. They're trying to paint him as a bad actor, not just a bad football coach. That's what the first soundbite was. Unbelievable person. Now it's all 3 years at Colorado. They have thought about this, which is what made me say, is Coach Prime going to be there for game one? Because they coming. You think it's a coincidence they just put Brennan Marion out there yesterday and had him mic'd up and all this stuff, and not on Well Off Media, but for CU? I don't even know if he was mic'd up on Well Off Media because they gone, so I don't know. Honestly, I'm probably not going to watch it like that. Then again, I might. Because it's not if, it's when. And the Sanders know this. The Sanders know this. And I'm telling you, the louder the conversation get about the inside robbery getting close to the Browns, Shedeur probably going to be gone. Ain't no way he going to be there. If they get rid of the saboteurs, just like they got rid of the goon squad in the Rams game right afterwards, and that's what they doing with everybody that was involved, you think they're going to let Shedeur stay there? No. And yeah, I'm going to talk about it. Yeah, damn right I'm going to talk about it. Because they setting up for abuse 2.0. It's just, it's going to be quiet. Ain't no telling what the hell they're going to do next if they rob this goddamn house. I mean, I don't know. Did y'all see that accident that the basketball player had? I covered the one that was driving the Hummer and he ran into like a basic 4-door sedan and his whole front wheel came off the axle and the little car he hit, nothing. I was talking about that to somebody and I said, was the wheel already loose? Because how? The owner of the gray car that he hit got up and just immediately got the car and walked around to go check on the Hummer because his car came apart. So that's bad business for Hummer. Or was his front wheel sabotage? Y'all, that impact was, well, it's not like he was going 80 miles an hour. If he was going 80 miles an hour up a street and hit a regular sedan and a Hummer, you best believe that Hummer's whole front end would have been smashed in. Nope. Hummer's wheel intact, just the fender part damaged. He's one of the Ball brothers. LaMelo Ball, is that his name? You can't put nothing past these people when they trying to move you out the way. You can't do it. They've shown you what they're capable of. You see what's going on with Max Crosby. You saw everything in Cleveland. You see Shedeur's house was robbed. People knew it was an inside job. Now you got players talking about it. Now, at the same time that they pushing out the saboteurs, anybody that's staying next to Shedeur get put out. And only Shedeur and Myles Garrett get robbed. When that heat, well, didn't I just say this the other day? I said the Browns better pay Shedeur his number 2 overall money before them chickens come home to roost. Roo, roo, how do chickens make a sound? I need to get a chicken sound. Make a chicken sound. They roosting. I just said this not 2 days ago. Didn't even hear what they said on the end of the clip. That ain't going to be the end of it. That will not be the end of it. Because they knew, and they would have never said it. Chickens coming home to roost. I don't know what a chicken sound like, but I'm damn sure going to find a chicken sound. You best believe that. Because this is exactly what I was talking about. That's what you call the unexpected. That was totally the unexpected for them to say that and for me to find that clip. I normally don't even look at other people's clips like that. I just don't have time. To be honest with you, it was a concerted effort. I saw the clip on accident, but you best believe it was a concerted effort to look at part of it. I didn't even watch all of it and save it and decide I'm going to use it. I'm just saying. Tell me that was a coincidence. That's crazy though. I'm telling you, this is very interesting. It's very, very, very interesting. Yep, I'm gonna find me a chicken sound. I'm definitely, I was looking to see if I could get one real fast. But I'm definitely gonna find me a chicken sound. But in the meantime, be sure to like, comment, and subscribe. Hype me up. Hype me up. All right. So I'm gonna go through the end of these comments and we gone. The golden child is Arch Manning. I'm glad you know it. I'm glad you know it. That's who they putting all the eggs in that basket. Remember, 12 nickname is grown. His dad taught him well. Yeah, he already know. That's why every time there's like a cut period or whatever, he'll say thank you, God, or whatever. But this robbery here, this information, I'm telling you, because I'm getting ready to take another look because I'm like, these guys haven't been extradited back. And I was looking at somebody else's case, and I think it was one of the NFL players we had talked about that looked like he was experiencing CTE. He was locked up for 3 years before he went to trial. The incident happened in 23. He didn't go to court till 2026. Sat there for 3 years. Yep. That's it, guys. That's it. Yep. Shedeur's elite. They should have already committed to him. Not only do they not want to commit to him, they refuse to trade him so he could go somewhere else and play. So the sabotage from the 25 draft is still in existence. The collusion is still in existence. And now we're uncovering more than collusion. I mean, we way past collusion. Last June, it was did they collude or did they? And it was obvious that they colluded. And for a judge to basically say, oh, you're a little pregnant, you're pregnant or you're not. You're guilty or you're not. It's not a little guilty. Once you the threshold of collusion, they said it wasn't enough damage. And that meant that the NFL had protection in that case. And look at what has transpired since then. The collusion in the draft has just blown up. It's not even a question if they colluded against Shedeur. It's not even a question if Shedeur was sabotaged in Cleveland. It's not even a question if Stefanski did it. So they've been getting away with all of this. And look at where we are. Almost a year from the draft. Now we talking about colluding against 2 players for the Browns, which definitely points to inside job, which means Medina County need to reopen the investigation and head on up there to Berea expeditiously. That's what that means. That's exactly what that means. And somebody need to send private investigators to meet with. I don't know if they all in the same place, but personally, if I got the bag like that, I'm hiring 4 private investigators, and I want them to set up meetings with all of them on the same day to meet with everybody. I want everybody to meet with a private investigator individually. I want all this shit to happen on the same day, and we're gonna come back with this story. See, that's what should happen. That's what you do with the resources you get. Hire a private investigator. Go sit them over there to the jail and ask, now what happened? How did you end here? How did you end up in jail? That's the question. Start there. Oh, well, I got this phone call or somebody DM me or hit me up on Facebook. And it's a host of questions. Did you ever meet the people that hired you, or did you meet a middleman, a woman? It's looking a little raggedy. It's time to go back down and investigate an inside robbery inside Berea. They moving everybody out for a reason. They all gonna be gone. And it seemed like them guys just gonna be sitting in jail until everybody gone. And then they're gonna come back to Ohio. Shedeur, if you're listening, and anybody else that's listening, hire private investigators, send them up to the jail and ask, how did you get here? What were you arrested for? Gotta do it. Don't waste your money. Back in the day, they used code words. Now they use certain media outlets. Pay attention. I can see it. I can definitely see it. I definitely could see it. It said Miles probably not interacting with the Browns because he's not going to let them mess with his money. Facts. They still talking about him being traded. I heard that today. People asking, I guess a couple of months ago, they were talking about him going to the Patriots. They've been floating around the idea of Myles Garrett being traded. I need to go and see when the first story came up. If it came in 4 months, what was 4 months ago? 4 months ago. What month was 4 months ago? What month is this? December. When was Shedeur robbed? It was Tuesday, November 18th. There we go. 4 months ago was November 18th. Shedeur was robbed November 16th. They started talking about Myles Garrett being traded. Press conference was held right before what? The end of the year? the team was gone, or right after the team, it was right after the team break for the season. Yep. That's facts. Waddle, wide receiver for the Dolphins, went to the Broncos. Right. I thought Waddle should have came to Cleveland, but Cleveland didn't get anybody. Notice Cleveland didn't get anybody to help. Just to placate. Just to stall. Just to mosey on along to 2027. I'm going to tell you something right now. Cleveland going down. And I ain't talking about on the field. This robbery, this about to get crunk, bro. You best believe that. You best believe that. Hey, Barry, how you doing? Shout out to Joe Hayden from, who's that? Oh, Joe and Debo. Yeah, I didn't know his name, but thank you so much. Great show. Thank you so much. It said, sounds like I heard this before a couple of months ago. It could have been. It could have been the best detective in the game. Shout out to you. Thank you so much, St. Ivy. Debo and Joe podcast is spot on. Yep, that's crazy. We're getting somewhere now. It said Miss Believe ready to shave that Mr. What? Thank y'all so much. Thank y'all so much. The kitchen light is turned on, and who is running for cover? Yeah, that's about to get interesting. Y'all remember when they talked about that robbery with Shedeur? He said he was glad it happened the way it happened. He chose his words carefully as well. So it must be one hell of a trip to work for the people that people suspect set you up to be robbed, and you keep showing up for work every day. I tell you what, that young man is finding out wherever the hell it is he gonna know exactly who not to take. On and off the field, in his personal life, etc. Because it's a whole lot of foolishness happening between that fake account, the fake legendary _2 page, between the robbery. Like it's a lot, and there are things that we don't know. There are things that we don't know that's happening. But I think Coach Prime is in what you call pre-damage control mode. So just keep going that direction because they coming. Why did Staub have on his lips? I don't know. Yeah, definitely running to Boston. It said the video of Debo and Joe is Brown setting up Shedeur to fail. It said Joe Hayden breaks down Cleveland O-line additions. Okay, so that's recent. Then that's recent. Exactly. Hire PI. Those platitudes ain't gonna get. Yeah, you gotta do it. You have to absolutely hire a private detective. Now, some people wouldn't hire for, but I'm gonna tell you why I'm gonna hire for. I want all of this done on the same day. I want you to interview this one, you to interview this one, and this one. And we're gonna come back and compare notes. Now, mind you, I don't know whether they all locked up in the same place or not. And maybe they've been talking or whatever, but I'm telling you, I do not think it's a coincidence that on what appears to be a very stale Facebook page, there are breadcrumbs pointing to Oregon, University of Oregon football. The names being used are obviously fake. And if it's stale, they've been fake, right? And the data points that I'm talking about can be changed every day. There's no limit on how many times you can change that. Like the way you work, you change that every day. I think you can change that 365 days a week if you want to. There are certain data points on Facebook you can change all of the time. And I just don't know how it is. You have somebody locked up for a robbery that was caught with thousands in cash weeks after the robbery, and his stale Facebook page points to Oregon football, University of Oregon, NFL, and Penn State. And this was, when I started, it was at the time that the guy that owns that agency that everybody belonged to, including Derrick Henry, Jimmy Sexton, was trying to get Daboll, who was fired from the Giants, who defamed Shedeur, a job at Penn State. I mean, he ultimately got on with Tennessee as an OC, but when I saw that information, that's what was happening in the news cycle. So, and Dylan over there quiet. And they why they not interested in keeping Dylan? So why did they get him? You see? And here's the thing. Was it players that got together and put money together? And I want you to know, right? I was like, how you get people from Atlanta? You know, there's a lot of football players have been arrested before they got to the NFL. So you got a college player who was arrested, let's just say from University of Georgia. And I don't know, somebody in the NFL might have bailed him out back then, and they make it to the NFL. And you got something you want to do. They know somebody because they from right here in Atlanta. They played at the University of Georgia where they got arrested. And somehow, even with an arrest record, they still got to the draft. So that person might owe somebody something. So if I need somebody, you clearly got arrested for crime. You know people. I'm just saying, it's a theory. I don't even think it's hard to prove that. I just think that they were trying to protect the money. And if you try to protect the money, was it Stefanski's money? I don't think so. Dylan's money? No. Jerry Judy's money? Nope. Who basically tried to tell us using the same 4 people standing behind them. And it doesn't become a matter of did they do it? It's can you prove it? What did the police say? They knew it was a robbery for hire, but they couldn't prove it. Did you ask the 4 people that you had locked up, or at least the 3 at the time? Did you ask them? Private detective. If you got the bag, hire 4. Don't send the same person to talk to the same people. Get 4 different people to do it and compare notes. Starting with, what were you arrested for? The robbers on the video don't look black to me. A lot of people have said that. A lot of people have said that. And that's going to be a problem if, let's just say out of the 4 they arrested, let's say maybe 1 was involved. And he was the person behind the scenes. And that's why it took them the longest to catch. And the other 3 was just snatched up. Because how you catch 3 different people at 3 random traffic stops? And the 4th one, who had the type of background, who had already served 12 years, was caught in the same area, and it took you forever to get him. So, and that's the one that wasn't on camera at the hotel. So let's say these 3, for whatever reason, were on camera at this particular hotel, and they come back to Atlanta, they get picked up. But the one that's not on camera, it takes the longest to catch him. But they got caught at traffic stop. So I don't know. It's a weird situation, but it's not that complicated. The right questions have not been asked to the right people. When you say we couldn't prove it was a robbery for hire, it makes me think that the people you already had in custody don't want to talk. And I find that to be very shocking, considering the 3 they picked up first didn't have that kind of background. Protecting the money. That's all I'm going to keep saying. They protecting the money. That's what it is. He's a grown man talking about he don't know what he's saying. Yeah, no, he know what he's saying. He definitely know what he's saying. Definitely know what he's saying. All right, y'all, we're going to get out of here. We'll be back. We'll be back tonight. I appreciate y'all hanging out with me on the huddle. We went a little longer than I expected, but it was that, I know the tea popped up. So we got to address it. We got to address it. All right. So hopefully a private detective is hired in this matter with Shedeur. But the fact that it's being discussed, it was an inside job and intended to disrupt, and only Myles Garrett and Shedeur was robbed. It's pointing to the Browns. The Browns got some explaining to do, and them chickens are coming home to roost. I'll see y'all tonight at 10:35 p.m. Eastern Standard Time on What She Said Sports. Keep looking for the unexpected, because the unexpected is doing its thing. See y'all later. Thanks for watching What She Said Sports, everybody. Be sure to like, comment, and subscribe. Hype me up. Hype me up.